Welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on a hop called The Next Big Thing. Each month Shannon gives us a prompt. The prompt for October is to fussy cut a large element out of pattern paper and include that on your layout. I am also working on 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. This is today's sketch. This sketch was created by April Lynn Barrett. I will put any information, her Instagram account, etc., if I can find it, down in that description box below. There is also a playlist for The Next Big Thing, as well as a playlist for 30 Days of Sketches listed. I am using my counterfeit kit from October. I am on mini kit duty for counterfeit kit this month, and if you watched that video where I introduced my kit and one of the layouts I created with my kit, you will note that I'm terrible at making mini kits, and it is quite evident in that video. I put an entire collection kit in my mini kit, so not so many. Today, I added a little bit of things to my mini kit, including this piece of pattern paper from 3/4 Designs. It has a train and some other steampunk style elements on it to use, and this is the back side. This paper is glossy, and if you know me, that is not my favorite, but this paper is gorgeous, and since I've already paid for it, I'm going to use it. I have a background sheet, couple background pieces of paper from my mini kit, rub-ons and scraps, chipboard, and some other miscellaneous things. I have some flare buttons from Scrap and Happy Studio, some washi, the pet tape from Arden Creative Studio. These flowers I used in another layout that will not come out until next week, but I have these sassafras last flowers to use in case I want to. So I'm going to pause, I'm going to get started, and I'll be right back. All right, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that I am going to loosely interpret this sketch. And most of that is because of the way I have to get the photos on there to get this big element on my layout. So I'm going to have 3 photos, one on the bottom, 2 towards the top, and then I'm going to have embellishment clusters. So first I'm going to just loosely cut out that train from that 3/4 design paper, and now I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut. I'm left-handed, as you can see in the video, and I cut what's the best way for me. Sometimes it's easier for me to twist the paper, sometimes it's easier for me to turn the scissors, and I do a little bit of both every time I cut. Now with this fussy cut train, I am going to try to cut it out very easily, but we get to some of the pieces and those are a little bit more fiddly than others, and those I leave some of the border around it, some of the background paper around it, because I don't want to rip off some of those fiddly pieces. Like the smokestack has some really tiny fiddly pieces, and I just kind of loosely cut around those edges. Everything else I do a pretty close cut, leaving little to no border, and that is how I'm going to fussy cut this. I had hoped that this train would be a little bit larger than it is, but in the end I'm glad it's not, because I don't know that I would have been able to get all of the photos on the layout if the train had been larger. And what's funny is I remembered this paper and I thought it was in the Wherever collection, and you know, when I went looking through my counterfeit kit, I realized that I was definitely wrong. So I went searching for it, had a little help with from my friend Tina. We kind of went through all of the collections in our minds, and then I realized, oh, you know what, maybe it's the 3/4 design collection that I'm thinking of. And it was. So this is my first collection with 3/4 Designs, and I did a video here not too long ago with this collection, and this is a beautiful collection. I do wish this paper was not glossy. I understand that the glossy paper is cheaper and the colors get more vibrant. I'm just not a fan of the gloss. Mixed media doesn't stick on it very well. It definitely doesn't dry as well as you would like. And I just don't like that texture. But that's a me thing. And anyway, I had thought that I would get this railroad track on there, and it's just not going to work. So I put it back. And now I'm going to cut apart my photos. I accidentally printed 2 of the same photo. Oops. There are 4 photos from this little train adventure that we went on. We are at Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, and we rode the train. Dollywood used to be a Silver Dollar City. Silver Dollar City is in Branson, Missouri area, and that is kind of that's my home state. And I grew up going to Silver Dollar City, and we've taken our kids to Silver Dollar City, and we were told that Dollywood was still very much like Silver Dollar City. It's not. And we weren't as impressed with it as we'd hoped, but that's neither here nor there. We think Silver Dollar City is better. Maybe that's just personal preference or whatever, but we did have a good day. It was just the 2 of us, and that does make a huge difference. You know, normally when we go to Silver Dollar City or any other amusement park, we've always had our kids with us. Well, we're empty nesting now. We don't have kids, and this was in the middle of the school year, so we didn't have our granddaughter either. And this trip was for our wedding anniversary. My husband had been deployed in 2022 during our wedding anniversary. That was our 30th wedding anniversary. So this was his way of trying to give me back some of that time. You know, as a military wife, you do give up a lot of stuff. Anniversaries, you give up Valentine's Days, you give up birthdays, and sometimes you give up Christmas and Thanksgiving when you're dealing with deployments. So, you know, wasn't upset that he was gone. Disappointed, but not upset. Anyway, so he's been deployed a lot since 2022, which is, this military wife has had enough of it. I'm ready for him to retire, but he's not quite there yet. Anyway, so we rode this train, and it was a cute little ride. They told story on it, and it was fun. I will say that the Silver Dollar City train ride is a lot better in my opinion, but okay, enough of that. So I know I want to use some of these rub-ons from this collection on this layout, and I'm gonna cut out 3 of them, and I'm not going to put them on there on camera. I'm going to tuck them with their backing paper where I want them to go. And I'm doing this so that I know exactly where I want to put them, and to make sure that I don't end up covering them up. I hate when that happens. I hate when I cover up mixed media or rub-ons or an element that I had wanted to showcase. And so I was trying to be very, very careful with that. I have these MAP alphas. I don't remember what company they are. They're not actually thickers. They might be K and Company, or they could just be some off-brand. I don't know. I'm already out of E's, which is maddening to me. Really wish companies would consider making an extra sheet of the most used letters in the English language, because it would most certainly make being able to use up all of the letters easy. Anyway, I'm trying to make a title out of this set of letters without E's. I wanted to do Cool Ride because we did enjoy it, but it is what it is, and I don't have E, and I'm going to use the only 3 that I have left, I'm going to use down on the bottom to put kind of the date on it, and I'm just going to call this Cool Day. I don't love how it's disappearing on that background paper, and I will fix that later. Right now, I am working on getting 4/23 on here. At first, I was going to do April. There's no R's left, so I just used numbers instead, and that's fine. It works. As you can see, I'm using my magnets to help hold down my pictures and stuff so that I can tuck easily. I love this magnetic glass board. I cannot believe that I've ever scrapped without it. I know that sounds crazy, but I love those magnets. It really helps with positioning. It helps with gluing things down too. You can, you know, put those magnets down and then you can glue down stuff, and then instead of trying to find a jar of something heavy, I just can stick a magnet on top of it and it holds it down while it glues, and that makes me super happy. I'm going to layer up some of these laser cut elements. I've got that railroad crossing, I've got the don't walk walk sign, I've got some leaves. I'm going to pull out this airplane thing. It's kind of, it says admit one at the end, and I'm going to tuck the airplanes underneath my photo because of course this layout is not about airplanes. I'm going to pull out 2 butterflies, and I'm also going to pull out one of these knotted ribbons to kind of stick underneath my title. At this point, I'm trying to figure out a way to showcase it. I have that little phrase that says Grand Adventure, and I'm just kind of looking at the other things. I have pulled out a green ticket. Now I've pulled out kind of a reddish terracotta color ticket, an arrow that says Explore, and I think that's the only laser cut elements that I use. I'm going to look at my chipboard. Now, I think I said this in the video where I showcased my counterfeit kit. These chipboard pieces are misprinted, and some of them, like one of the words, the word discover, I ended up throwing away because when I pulled it off the packaging, you couldn't read the word anymore because it was definitely misprinted. Most of the things on here are going to be okay and usable, but that particular word was not. I pulled in those trunks and the Explore and the Grand Adventure phrase, and I'm going to layer those up on that train. I've got these sassafras flowers that I'm really trying to use up, and here's where I decide to fix my title by I'm going to place it on the top of it, but I will put that down on the background paper when I go to glue things down and put my title on top of it, and that helps bring the title up into focus. I'm fussy cutting one of the little elements out of that background or that packaging paper. Again, I love that 49er Market does that we have the ability to fussy cut and use everything that they send us, including the back of the packaging. I had considered trying to figure out a way to get the washi tape that I put into my kit. That washi tape is from All and Create. I did pull in that Scrap and Happy Studio cog flare, and now I'm gonna just pull in 3 hearts from the Wishing Baubles, and that'll be pretty much it that I put on here. I'm pretty happy with everything, how everything's placed, and I'm going to stop and glue. Okay, I got this layout done. Off camera, I glued everything down. I wrote a little bit of journaling on a label and stuck it here. Used some foam adhesive in places, and I did do some splatters. I used Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide Spray, Wild Honey Distress Oxide Spray, and Tea Dye Distress Oxide Spray. It's a little bit wet in places up here, and especially on the glossy paper. I'm not sure that's even going to dry, but hopefully it does. It looks like a couple of the dots have started drying, so maybe I'll be okay with that. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you as a subscriber. I do respond to my subscribers' comments and questions. So if you have any comments or questions about this layout, anything that I've used or any technique that I've done, please drop those below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I also hope that you guys will check out those playlists in my description box and watch what everybody else is doing with today's sketch and today's prompt. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye.